In the last video, we discussed all the possible reasons why the divine feminine could halt union from their side. In this one, it's going to be a part 2, and we're going to get into the reasons the divine masculine, or the unawakened counterpart, stops union from happening. Before I get into this today, I want to play some lyrics from a Blue October song. It's called Hate Me. For copyright reasons, obviously I can't just play it directly, but feel free to look it up on YouTube if you want to listen to the full version. Crazy how that song first came to me. I once dated a pilot who I found out later was cheating on me with multiple people across the country. In my wounded state at that time, I continued to try to be with him. One day we were sitting in the hot tub and he played that exact song for me. We really loved listening to that genre of music, so I actually didn't think anything of it at the time. And suddenly he said to me, "I'm gonna play this again and I want you to listen to the lyrics." It was his way of saying my light was too bright to be brought down by his darkness. This pilot and my counterpart, believe it or not, once spent about a week communicating with each other. That's a long story, probably not for this channel. They both came back telling me that I deserved it better than the other one, surprisingly enough to me. It took me years to realize that both of these individuals actually hate themselves. Most of the runners simply don't love themselves at all. Life is a challenge for them. They use unhealthy coping strategies so they don't have to be alone with their thoughts. Just like that song says, they block them out. When you come into their life, you show them love in a way that they've never seen before. Love that they don't know exactly how to accept or even think that they deserve. So they ghost, they say mean things, these mean things you've never even heard them say before, and then they sabotage like a master. They leave you feeling hurt. They probably know you're their person, but whatever trauma still exists in their body overruling that, whatever they experienced when they were little is just too strong to let them believe they now deserve anything different. Many adults have a hard time getting over things like physical abuse, SA, and neglect, or being told that they should have never been born. And you, being their mirrored soul, you bring all of this stuff up to the surface for them. If they would just face their shadows and what originally caused their pain, this could certainly change. But this leads us to the number 2 reason. The divine masculine, your counterpart, has free will, and their ego takes full advantage of that. They can't get closer to their soul or you if their ego is in charge. And in order for a lot of runners to stop running, they have to have something happen to them in their lives that makes them want to shut that ego down. The ego mainly doesn't want anything to change. It's happy with the coping mechanisms. It feels safe pushing people away or staying married to someone that they know isn't good for them, in a job that isn't fulfilling to them, as long as things stay exactly the same. The ego and the mind feel good with no connection to their soul. This is all that they know. So unless the universe comes along with some hard-hitting tower moments, and then the soul calls them out and they're willing to let it in, and unless the runner decides to take action with those moments, their lives will never, unfortunately, change. The free will and the ego win here. The next reason is their pride. It just won't allow them to do what's best for them. My counterpart used to say he'll never pay someone to help him heal. He called healing a cult. To many of us, that would not make sense, but to people that have been so abused in their life, they're unable to see the good that light workers do. They actually don't trust people. To them, everyone is manipulative, and they always need to be on guard. Another reason could be that they're stuck in their wrong core energy, never having the right feminine or masculine role models in their lives. For example, if a boy never had a healthy father-type presence, then they tend to pick up whatever information people will give them. And usually those sources have pretty fucked up lives themselves. So instead of learning to be confident, to fulfill a mission, to provide, and to protect, they instead learn to be cocky, heartless, and hide their true emotions. Or they cling to that feminine core energy, afraid to step out of it. So they won't take risks like the masculine would, and they won't step into who they really are. They instead sit back like a feminine would and wait for something to come to them. Only those things never just come, and so they waste their life. Another reason is that they feel love is controlling to them. Again, this is another incorrect assumption that comes from their childhood. While their younger self tried to love their mom or their dad or someone else, they never got love in return in the correct way. They instead were only just controlled with no freedom to be themselves. Without doing their inner work, they continue to believe that if they give you love, you will do what their parent did, try to control them in manipulative ways. For some of them, you even just talking or trying to love them makes them feel pressured. And they don't like that pressure. It's too traumatic for them. You can certainly help this by not pressuring your counterpart and just letting them be. But I want you all to know clearly that this is not a you problem. This is a them problem. The last reason is that they don't surrender to the journey. For all the reasons that I've already talked about, they fight and resist on a spiritual journey. You have to give your 50% before the universe is going to give its 50%. So unfortunately, a lot of them are choosing their matrix sleeping life over a renewed, soulful one. Divine Feminines, if your counterpart has any of these issues, there isn't anything you can do about it. This is their stuff to overcome. And I know many of you feel their energy asking you to help them, but you actually can't. Other than sending minimal amounts of positive energy to them, there's nothing else you can do for them. They at one time had their opportunity to work together as a team, and they turned their back on you. The only way I've ever seen two come into union and have it last is if both parties decided to look at their own stuff and work through it by their own choice, not for another person. We all know that very few twin flames come back into union. And just as they have free will, you do as well. You can detach, stop talking about them, stop watching anything that has to do with twin flames, and make decisions for your life that will make you happy. If you all haven't watched my video about when I went to do ayahuasca ceremonies, let me tell you that I received the best advice of my entire life there. After a rough night of ceremony with the plant medicine, I asked a facilitator to come up to my room and talk with me. She asked me how long I had been working on my healing, and I told her a bit of my story. So by then, I think it had been about 3 years of intense work. She said this to me, "You know, at some point, you can just decide to stop all this and go enjoy your life." And that still really speaks to me. I see videos out there saying you can never forget this person. The signs and synchronicities will always draw you back to them. While that is a necessary stage of this journey so that they can be a catalyst to your growth, it doesn't have to be that way forever. You can also choose to go into full detachment, or just wait because that right time will probably come. Once you've healed and done things to make yourself feel fulfilled, waiting for a person that may never come back isn't actually enjoying your life. And this is the best way to withdraw your energy, taking pressure off of the connection. It is always your choice. The universe is not going to override you on what it is that you actually want out of life. And I'm always here to support whatever stage of the journey you are on. Feel free to check out the link below for booking a time with me. Please like and comment on this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next video.